5 things Hitler did well in his climactic speech in the Triumph of the Will documentary, and 4 things he could improve on. Coming right up in this episode of Speech Analysis. Hi, I'm Yang Shu. I'm the speaker coach here at Speaking Volumes, and in this speech analysis series, I evaluate the presentations and the speeches of speakers from around the world. Some are good, some are not so good, and you do want to get better at speaking, don't you? Subscribe to my channel. I've got a video coming out every Wednesday and Friday. Now, the Triumph of the Will documentary was a propaganda movie designed to promote Nazi ideology to the whole population of Germany. It was a huge success. It had a lot of persuasive elements in it to convince the population that this is the right way to go, that this is a good idea, that we should be loyal to this Hitler guy. We should do what he says because he sounds very convincing. He's making a good point there. And so this documentary is an hour and a half. And the speech that I am evaluating is the last speech in that documentary. He's talking to 150,000 SA and SS troops. Now, the whole speech is in German. I don't speak German, but speaking skills is universal. Doesn't matter what language you speak, speaker archetypes, full body communication, vocal, variety, power postures, these are all universal techniques for speaking. And also, Hitler, not the greatest person in the world. Speaking skills can be used for unethical things. Speaking skills can be used for good or bad. Hitler obviously used these speaking skills in a negative, unethical way, but it just goes to show that speaking skills is very powerful. And before I talk about the 5 things that he does well, I'll also like to preface that there are a lot of overtones of religion and unity. So coming together in this sort of Nazi religion. Venue is a church. There's music playing, people are singing, and people have this behaviors that everyone follows, and there's a unification. Just like in the army, everyone follows the leader. There are overtones of power. A lot of the gestures that Hitler uses signifies power, that we can dominate, we can win. And thirdly, there's a lot of overtones of pride. Pride in the German bloodline, purebred Aryan race. So 5 things that he did well. First one is archetypes. He really embodies the preacher archetype and the commander archetype. I'd say 50-50. The preacher archetype you would have seen in the Martin Luther King speech. Martin Luther King embodies preacher. Hitler does as well, but in a negative way. He's using it for war and destruction. As I said before, this whole venue is in a church. He's using a lot of hand signals that signify that he is like preaching to the choir, and the whole army in front of him is his choir. Everyone's doing the same movements. They're singing afterwards. He's also using the beingness of a commander, someone who's sharp and focused and powerful, has authority. So he embodies those 2 archetypes and he gets the job done. He gets buy-in of the whole crowd in front of him and eventually the whole of Germany. Second thing he does well is enthusiasm. He has so much enthusiasm. You can see him sweating. He's sweating through some of the things that he's saying. In so many moments, he's just going off the rails. It's like he's possessed by a demon or something.
Unentschlossen ist, diese Führung zu behalten, wahrzunehmen und nicht mehr abzugeben.
His enthusiasm is way over the top, and he has to because there's such a huge crowd in front of him. And I believe he's taking in all that energy from the audience, and that's really driving him to be that enthusiastic. When he's saying, only the best will become nationalist party members.
Nur die besten Nationalsozialisten sind Parteigenossen.
And the belief and the feeling that he has in these words is just 1000%. Third thing he does really well is full body communication. He uses a lot of gestures to emphasize the words that he is saying, to communicate power.
Kompromisslos die einzige Macht und alleinige Macht in Deutschland.
When he's touching his chest to say that it's coming from the heart.
Des Bekenntnisses, ich glaube, sondern der Schwur, ich kämpfe.
When he's saying to never give up and he's punching the ground. It's not enough to just believe. You must fight. And he's putting his hand up and being unchangeable in doctrine.
Seht ihr, in ihrer Lehre unveränderlich.
Having tunnel vision with his hands there. The fourth thing he does well is audience interaction tools. Now, he doesn't really say to salute, but what he does is he expects people to do that because he's done many speeches before, so people know what to do. They're conditioned to do that, and you see everyone doing that at certain moments in the speech. The Nazi salute.
Nunmehr endgültig abgelöst wurde von einem ruhenden Pol.
And it's getting the audience to interact, to engage. They're standing up, they're moving, they're engaged to what he's saying.
Es lebe die nationalsozialistische Bewegung! Es lebe Deutschland!
You know, long live the Nationalist Socialist Party, and everyone's doing the salute. The fifth thing he does well is pauses. Political speech, gotta do pauses. You're letting people clap, you're giving enough space and time so he can let that happen, and then he can continue with his speech.
Dieser Führung angeschlossen und unterstellt.
Without that, if he continued on talking, it wouldn't be as powerful. So he gave pauses, which was superb. Other things worthy of mention is the propaganda. The way the whole venue is designed, the banners, the eagles, the swastikas, the music, chairs ordered in a certain way, communicating unity, the branding, the propaganda, that's all there. That's what it is. It's good marketing, it's good propaganda. There are 4 improvements that I would personally recommend. First one, less screaming, more contrast. He did contrast with these pauses, but I would also say go low volume, talk silently, and then talk loud. He could scream all he wants, then talk silently. That will create so much more suspense. He's definitely already engaging and entertaining to watch, but he could do more. Second thing he could improve on is more full body communication, being more expressive with his hands. He is already expressive, but there needs to be more. Sometimes the movements don't have a purpose. For example, if he's talking about high standards in his speech, maybe go high standards with the hands. Third thing to improve on is having his hands above his shoulders more. His hands are more like this, but they need to be like this. They need to be above his shoulders. Use more of the real estate above his head. He's doing this stuff. He needs to go like this, going all out with his hands. And the fourth and last thing, it's a minor thing, but when he's talking about replacing things to the past, I talked about this in Jim Carrey's speech analysis as well. This is the past for the audience, and this is the future. So when he's talking about replacing, this is where his hands should be going. It should be going in the past, because he was going this way.
Dass die ewige Flucht der Erscheinungen nunmehr endgültig abgelöst wurde von einem ruhenden Pol.
So in terms of rating, that speech was speaking volumes. He achieved his purpose of rallying the whole army and the whole German population, creating this movie, this propaganda movie. But no matter what the impact was, negative or positive, despite these speaking skills being used for an unethical purpose, this speech was speaking volumes. So I'm grading Hitler on his speaking skills, and I give him an 8.7 out of 10. So what did you think about this analysis? Did you see the same things? What else did you like about Hitler's speech? Let me know in the comments below. If you like this video, like it, share it with your friends, and I'll see you on the next video.